episode, we are discussing this term, simps. What is a simp? We hear that a lot.
Right.
And I guess it's a term that other men, it's predominantly used by men, right? I don't really hear
Right.
women saying it, but maybe some do. But
yeah, but
it's a
mostly
term that
men.
men use to, they use it to describe other men who they believe are pandering, quote unquote, to women, but really it's just being a decent human being.
Right.
You know? And there's this thing that we hear all the time. I just don't understand it because I know it's made up by men. They're always saying, just because they're so bitter and atrocious, because they treat themselves terribly. If a man is nice, you're going to call him a simp. Or Nigeria, we say, the Nigerian men say woman rapper. So he's a woman rapper. And a woman rapper is, you know, a rapper, a woman's rapper that she used, you know, rapper, tights.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what they say. Say because it's tied around her waist if he's nice to her. But so they say that
the stuff they come up with, I honestly.
Bro, they're crazy. And just because they're so jealous as well all the time of each other. So now because Sierra's with Russell, they're now saying, there's this thing they keep saying, but you wouldn't date a guy like Russel Wilson anyway. Who told you that? You guys are the ones who are saying that. Don't tell me don't speak for us. Who told you that? You're the ones who look at Russell and say he's lame. Because clearly women are dating guys like Russell.
Right.
So there's this notion, I see them, you know, like the bitter ones. They're the ones, the incels, we need to talk about incels. But, you know, these bitter ones that stay on social media, you see Sierra's happy with Russell. You see other women saying, oh, how amazing, how amazing. You're now going to come and say, but you wouldn't date a guy like Russell. Who said that?
Right.
You're the one saying that.
Right.
Women do date guys like Russell.
Right.
But you guys don't rate guys like Russell, so you make out like it's us. And these men are the ones that they call incels, as far as I'm concerned, yeah. I came across them the other day and I was like, oh my God. So incel is a term. In fact, let me drink some water because I've been talking like, how many minutes straight? I feel like I've just been chatting for like 10 minutes straight now. No?
4 minutes, but we just started the episode, so probably 2 minutes. Probably just 2 minutes.
Well, maybe 2. But yeah, I came across this term when I was doing research. I don't even know what I was researching. And it talked about incels, right? And the original term incel was developed by a lady, I can't remember her name, but it stood for involuntary celibacy, right? Meaning women, she was a woman and she just couldn't find anybody to lay with, kind of the situation that you know, we've been in for the past couple of years. Yeah. But men now hijacked this term, basically, and the kind of men that hijack the term are bitter men, basically, men who are involuntarily celibate and hate women for the fact that they blame women for that, basically, because they believe that they should have access to us. So they really just cannot stand women.
Right.
And they're really bitter. You know what I mean? And I find that a lot of the men who say things like this, you know, when they call other men simps, it just stems from a deep-rooted hatred of us, but also jealousy.
Right. Right.
Do you know
I definitely see that.
Yeah.
I definitely see that because it's like you have one of two issues. You weren't getting the girl or whatever. Like you didn't know who you were. Like you were insecure, whatever, based on society standards. Or you're the dude that's picking on him because you think that you're cool and you're like disrespectful and you dog women out and the world has told you that that's how you treat women. So you think that you cool. You think that you the man. So you see a guy like that and you feel like, oh, he's a simp. He's lame. He, you know, just kisses up or he does whatever. But I think it's so amazing. Like the world is so backwards and upside down. It's like everything that's bad is made to look good and everything that's good is made to look bad. Like, well, most things, you know what I mean? So it's like this idea that treating a woman good can get you backlash. It's funny because a lot of men, I feel like, have joined the movement, if you will, by like accidentally having like a conversation about women and somehow giving an opinion that goes against like the status quo. And then that when they receive that attack from men, they're like, oh, wait a second. Why are they going off on me like this? You couldn't even believe the way that they would attack you as soon as you start talking about women. So a lot of men, I feel like, because of that kind of pressure, A lot of men are very insecure, and they don't stand on their ground and on their beliefs. Like, they're one person in front of certain people and they're another person in front of different crowds of people. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them don't know how to stand firm in what respect should look like, and, you know, what they believe, if they even believe that. You know, so many of them sincerely do enjoy just disrespecting women, like, for real. But even those
funny,
few
like,
that
it's
might
a shame.
exist that don't necessarily agree with it, your fear of being attacked by
Scared,
other
right.
men is so much stronger than your ability to stand up for what's right. So
Right.
they're
Right,
terrified of
absolutely.
each other. They're insecure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really. Oh, God.
What?
My brain has gone. This is definitely going to have to be cut out. Jesus.
Should we take a break?
A few moments later.
Should
We
do
took a
that.
break.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, we did. But no, honestly, so yeah, the notion that women don't actually like good men is
Right.
it's just a lie. It's a fallacy created by men. Because how many women truly would not like a man like Russell Wilson? You guys are the ones that bully guys like him. You bully him, and then you get angry when guys like him get women, and then you now
Right.
decide that actually, you know what? It's you guys. Who said that? Just have you met girls? Because I know when you're younger, you know, there's certain, even it's a lie because even when you're younger, and the guy that you think is nerdy or a simp, like they say, will always have a girlfriend. There will be a girl that will date him.
Yeah.
Women will date him. The problem men have with that is that they don't understand. They don't want us to like men like that, but we do.
Right.
But they're constantly They push the notion that you see any kind of happiness, and it's like, yeah, but you wouldn't date men like that. So why did Sierra did to him?
Right. You know what? The world kind of grooms us to go against our better judgment, like with everything, with our health, with everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you think of all the classic movies back in the day, that's crazy because I'm supposed to be talking about this, you know, later. But a lot of the movies from back in the day, think about some of the love movies. Like, the main love interest in terms of a guy is always, or normally, like some jerk, some whatever. But then they
push it on purpose.
Yeah, they make it so romantic,
And
they make
the
it
other guy
like, girl, and it'd be toxic. It'd be like a toxic situation. It'd be like, no, he was trash. But the movies teach you, like, that's what love is. That's what it looks like, you know. And if you didn't grow up seeing, well, whatever you grew up seeing is going to impact your view as well. But if you didn't grow up seeing anything healthy, you're watching that and you're going, okay, that's what it looks like. That's what I need to aspire to. That's what girls like.
Right.
So you have a lot of guys who are not even truly like that, like really be lame for real, but they want to act cool, act hard, and how they do that is they like beat up on women. Those are the ones that beat up on women.
Because anyone who's not lame wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's always the lame, insecure ones. I find you never get a guy who's actually truly confident in himself and he's a full raging abuser.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just don't do it.
Right.
It's always someone that's insecure and just wants to feel power and control over women. You know, it's very scary. But yeah, I'm just sick of men creating this narrative. They're always creating annoying narratives of us and pushing it. And I'm sick of it. Every time you see a woman that's happy or doing things that you don't believe that women do, you now turn it into this, like, it's just a way to attack women constantly. Check any other statuses. I mean, check any post on Instagram or any other social media platform, and they post Sierra. If you see a man like Sierra and Russel Wilson, will you take him? I'm sorry.
Yep.
This is why we say that they're gay. But this is why we say that they're gay, though, because you are judging yourself.
Right.
You can't tell me whether I would take him because we did, and he got a baddie like Sierra.
Right.
So, and she's not the anomaly. She's not the anomaly. We do things like that. Yes, she dated Russell before, but so it doesn't mean she's dating this one now. That's what we do. Women do things like that. But you guys can't take it. In fact, you don't want us to. So you keep trying to give us a name that does not belong to us. And in fact, maybe some women do that. Right. But then there are also women who don't.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so you can't group all of us in this way because you want it to fit your hatred and narrative of women.
Right.
Because, oh my God, the woman that I like, she doesn't like me. Women don't have to like you, brother.
Right.
She doesn't have to like you. I hate that notion.
It's just really telling of like that internal hate that they have for women, because you men, you know, act like they have this brotherhood, right? Like y'all got this amazing brotherhood and y'all all understand each other and y'all stick together when it comes to like nonsense. But it's like you got a couple over here minding their business, living their life. And of all the things that we could be talking about, or of all the conversations that y'all can be initiating, you want to initiate a conversation talking about if we would date this man that you deem lame, only because of how he is with his family, how he treats his women, that he acts at least publicly like a stand-up guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Because of those things
Instead
alone.
Instead of you to be like, wow, amazing, that's why he got her.
Right.
You now want to turn it into,
But it's like, why not even, why talk about it at all? Why talk about it at all? Why not just like mind your business? Even if you think that or feel that way, it's like, that's still a brother. We're a community.
Right.
Why talk about it at all?
Right.
Like,
It's
and then you're talking about him
hatred.
to dog him out as if like you don't really have anything bad to say about him. Like, but think about it, as a community, when things happen in our community, and it reminds me of like what the police do. Like when something happens, they completely like flip the script. They start talking about things that are completely unnecessary and asides the point. You know what I mean? They'll like drag this person's background or whatever. And it's like, that's what y'all are doing. Like y'all dragging this man and his relationship and his mannerisms just because you guys are like less than par. Like, why don't you just get it together? Because it just bleeds and screams insecurity. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely, it does.
They get on my nerves.
Absolutely. And they do that a lot as well. It just stems from a deep rooted jealousy. And they've like, in my experience of guys, right? I think I said it in one of the episodes before, but they are, especially when it comes to women, they're always in such competition with themselves. They love to act like they're such bros over hoes, but they're liars. They are to an extent, but they also will backstab each other over women.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in countless situations when I was younger, being with guys. Even my brother, I think that was one of the first times I remember it happening. It was so frightening. I was about 13. Couldn't have been more than 13 or 12. And my older brother was about 15, 14. And we were on the bus coming home from school. And there was this older guy. And now when I think about him, especially even looks-wise, I think he would have been way older than me. He would have been a paedophile. Do you know what I mean? He would have been like early 20s. That's the age range, if I remember. So he comes up to me, my brother, on the bus. And then he's like, oi. And he's like, is that your girl? Just like that. My brother's like, no. He was like, no, that's my sister. And he goes, you're lucky. And then he walks off, and I'm just looking at him like, you know, I just didn't understand. It was such a weird exchange, bruh. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you see me with my brother even, and you're asking me if he's my boyfriend, and if he was my boyfriend, what would have happened? You would have attacked him because he was with me. And
yeah, because I got really confused by that just now. That really confused me.
Honestly, really insane. That was just it. That's all he did, and he walked off.
Scary.
And I remember being at uni with my actual boyfriend, and the amount of times, I'm sure he will not forget it, men just want to fight him. And I always knew, I just knew it's because I was with him. But if I'm not around you, you don't feel the need. They just feel the need to just show off themselves. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
so
I'll
weird.
even be
Such
out
a weird
and
energy.
like, there'll be one guy talking to me and another guy will come along and say, just cut him off. Doesn't know who he is, he just cuts him off, and he's like, please, I don't care, leave those lame ones, come with me. And they just do the weirdest things around women. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, you're the one who has the hatred for yourselves, but you keep trying to push that hatred onto us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell us the kind of men. Do you date this kind of men? And the point I wanted to make before was, we also don't have to like you. I am so sick and tired of the narrative that because a guy likes you I must like him back, and I'm a bitch if I don't like him, and I should be grateful. Why should I be grateful? Why should my self-esteem and my self-worth be based off of whether or not you like me? That's why, how many times have you heard men say, oh, you must have so many men. And if a woman complains about having attention, they're like, oh, but it's nice though. I don't know what you're complaining about. You just go outside and people just tell you that you're beautiful all the time. That's just great. They think that that's what we want and that's just great. And it's like, no, my self-esteem is not built off of that.
Hell, you know how much PTSD and trauma I have associated with random men, like calling out my name and doing things. Because men will follow you from the time that you are a child. They will harass you. You don't know if somebody's going to grab you, because men grab you, they touch you. You don't know if what else is going to lead to. Like, these men will follow you. Like, these men will murder you out here. Like, that doesn't feel good to constantly be harassed. Like,
and that's such a popular misconception. They think that we love it. Oh, you love it. You must have so much attention. No, I don't. Why would I? Why should I love the attention? Why do you believe that I should love being harassed, basically, in essence?
Right.
Because a lot of the times, like I said, when they're harassing you, it's not, there's no they just want to just call out, like if they're catcalling you or, oh, beautiful. So what am I going to turn around and go, thank you? No. Don't call me out. I'm not a dog. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And just because you like me doesn't mean I have to like you back. And if I don't like you back, that does not make me a bitch. Right. For God's sake, she's not entitled to like you. She does not have to like you. Right. She has a choice. She's allowed to make her own choices. Like, oh my God. They make being with women the be all and end all, and then they act like it's us, but really it's not.
No. Because they're the ones that shame you, like, for not being in a relationship or not being with a man. Like, it's like, why would you shame somebody, like, for living life, like being blessed with a life and enjoying it? Like, imagine shaming somebody or making somebody feel guilt. It's crazy because it has been a unfortunately successful attack when you say to women for so long, like, oh, you're gonna end up by yourself, or you're gonna end up an old maid, or you gonna die alone, or you not married, or you single, or you a baby mama, or whatever. Like these things have been so successful at triggering women and making women feel like they're worthless, because they have attached our worth, essentially, and our value on obviously the proximity to men. So it's like, if you're married or you get chosen by one, cool. So therefore the opposite of that means that you're doing terrible in life. And it just pisses me off because although I feel like a lot of women are, really learning the value of like being able to be with yourself and be happy, and the peace that you have, the peace that comes along with that is beautiful. But there's still so many women that are stuck in that mind frame that they're failing at life right now because they don't have these things that society said they should have had by now. When it's like, even if that was the goal, look at the type of options that are out there. Look at the mindset of these men. These are the kind of men that are literally saying that this man over here that's married and is taking care of his family, seemingly like he's a simp and he's lame, and like, these are the type of men that we really want to pick from. Like, come on. Like, we can't allow them to fool us any longer into thinking that being with yourself and being complete and being happy is an attack. Right. That's life. That's beautiful. I think we just struggle with abandonment issues. We just have so many childhood traumas that have triggered us into just wanting to attach and wanting to fill these voids. And it's like, a lot of those voids have nothing to do with a relationship or what you're lacking right now. It's just unsolved issues from your past. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that those things even work on us now. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
A lot of it does stem from abandonment issues, and from the minute we're born, we're just taught that our purpose is to humanize. That's it. Like, our purpose is that. Think about it. They say you're happily ever after. when you're a child, what's a happily ever after? It's when you've now coupled up or married somebody, boy or girl, really, but especially women. So you don't actually have any other notion of what you're aspiring to. Because I think, if I think about it, yeah, since I could remember, that was the notion of a happy ever after. My happy ever after was not supposed to be a happy ever after with like
some great career move or no.
No, it was married with kids, happy ever after.
Yeah, that's happy.
So that's all we aspire to. And if we don't have that, there's who is self? What is self? What is self-love?
No.
I literally, honestly, I'm serious. Like, I don't know. That was not something that was ever I knew about. I didn't understand the concept of self-love. I didn't understand the concept. My concept of love was basically, being someone else. And then toxic love, or toxicity, toxic dependent rubbish is what, but had no concept of self-love or, had confidence to an extent, but it wasn't real confidence, So we are now growing up and all we think, everybody's happiness is based off of this, I have to have a partner, I have to have a girlfriend, I have to have a boyfriend, I have to have a husband. And if I don't, oh my God, I failed. And obviously society does not miss a beat to shame women. No. Like, heaven forbid you're in your 30s and you're single and you're happily single as well. First of all, you're a spinster.
Right.
And a guy who's older is called a silver fox. Right? And he's called a silver bachelor fox by the time he reaches like...
A man could be a bachelor forever.
Forever. They're like... But a woman, by the time she reaches 30, the man is in his peak. But 30, we're expired and you're a spinster. And then they automatically just assume that you're miserable. And it's so funny because it's like, I'm miserable because I don't want to take your abuse. You're crazy.
Right.
In fact, that's the opposite of miserable. It means I'm very, very happy. If I was miserable, I would be comfortable inside your abuse like I used to be.
Right.
But because I'm no longer miserable and I actually adore myself, I will not let you come and destroy my peace.
Period.
All in the name of having somebody to cuddle with or do what. No.
Exactly.
Like...
Exactly.
Everything. Like, I know people who will say to me, yeah, I don't want to settle. And they might even admit that, the caliber of men out there right now is not working for them. But they'll always say, well, I still just always want to get married. I still want to... And I get it because that's how society's trained us. But I think to myself, but why is that an option? Why do you feel like you must do if you're saying you've looked out there? And again, they say it's not all men. Yada, yada, yada. I know. But the fact remains is, let's say now I'm 33.
Right.
In my I can't say 33 years of living because I haven't dated for 33 years, but let's say how many decades or whatever, this is a consistent problem. So why would I now continue to aspire to that?
Right.
Don't aspire to that because I haven't seen it. Right. So I'm not going to aspire to that anymore. I'm just going to aspire to have a phenomenal life and live my life nicely. You know what I mean? I'm going to stop aspiring to something that is clearly not attainable for me.
Right.
For what I want, what I'm looking for. Because some people have different standards,
Yeah.
But if what you're looking for, you're literally, it's not coming, it's not, what do you call it? It's not forthcoming. Why am I aspiring to that? Why would I say, but I still want to do it?
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's like, isn't that the definition of crazy or insane?
Yeah.
Like, I just think that you don't even realize how deep the programming is. Like, you don't even realize how much you do subconsciously, even when it doesn't make sense. It's like, that doesn't make sense. It's like, remember that video? You remember that video of that little girl on was it on IG? Remember that little girl? She was saying her mom was explaining to her that like Ariel like gave up her fins or for the guy, or what was it? Was it Ariel? Was it Little Mermaid? She said something about like, oh, she doesn't have her fins anymore, or her voice. She gave up her voice for the guy so she could be like his wife or something. She was like, that's dumb. Why did she do that?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like kids just have like, practical sense sometimes.
Minds.
Like, Yeah.
Like,
why did she do that? Yeah.
So when your self-esteem hasn't been battered, and then the older she gets, she's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Of course she gave it up for him. For him,
She gave it.
it's the prince. Give up my whole boys.
They literally program us from young to just, be second-class citizens, essentially.
Yeah.
It's so sad, man.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. I just want us to be free, and really freeing ourselves. Frees them as well. Because they really just don't know how to free themselves. They're just lost. But
life would be so much easier and it would be so much more beautiful. They don't even realize it.
Let us have even free, sane relationships. Like even the video you sent me on TikTok the other day of a lady. She was speaking about polyamory. And how, when she tells guys tell her that they're polyamorous. She's like, oh, great, yeah, me too. And then they're like, oh, no, not you too.
Yeah.
That's not what we want. If she now says, oh, I want to have a threesome too, I want to have two guys, they're like, But it's okay for you to want to have a threesome with two girls, and it's okay for you to be polyamorous. But when I speak about it, no. Because you just see women as like, honestly, I swear, it's just like having slaves, man. Like, honestly, they're just poverty. Like, you just buy your slave, like, that's what happens to Indian men. Even the whole concept of a fucking dowry. I know it's not the same in the Western world, but in African traditions, a lot of African traditions, we have the dowry, where you pay for the bride. The bride, call it the bride price. And it's like, no matter how much you try and condone it, they're paying for you. That's why you hear so many men say, but I paid your bride price. The fuck does that mean? You paid my bride price, so what? I have to do as you say.
Yeah. Like, I own you. You're my property.
I own you.
But for so long, you were their property legally.
We still are legally, because we still take their surnames. Like, marry. The concept always blows my mind. You marry them, and then they give you their surname. They literally take it. You lose you become theirs. You literally become their property. Like, and we don't even see it as that. It's like, that's exactly what they're doing. It's still happening.
That's really why you needed men for so long. You couldn't do anything on your own without them, because you were their property. It's like, well, where's the man that's responsible for you? For you,
couldn't make any decisions. Even now, when you want to get married, what do they say? Your husband asks your dad to put your hand in marriage. As the transference of property from one man to the other man.
That's what it is. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It's right in your face too. Right in your face.
It's right in your face. Yeah. But we aspire to it as well. That's and if you think different, or you say, well, actually, you actually sound crazy to the average person. That you're so bitter. Yeah. That's what makes me laugh. It's all the time bitter.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I think like any union that's sincere and dope can be beautiful, regardless of what that looks like. Right. But that's like two complete individuals that know who they are and know what they want, and they're very assertive about that. They don't allow the other person to cross their boundaries, nor do they cross that person's boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an equal exchange. I think it can be dope. Like, if you're going into something and you're saying, hey, I want an open relationship, and this person's like, hey, me too. And it's like, okay, we have an understanding, we respect each other, and we're going to do this thing. Or, hey, I want to be, just with you. I'm really not feeling nobody. And they're like, oh, me too. There's no lying. There's no deceit. Everybody just respects what the other person wants, because believe it or not, there's actually people out there that want what you want. So, like, you don't have to manipulate people into these situations. It's like, but most of the relationships that I see, it is these pre-programmed ideas of what they're supposed to look like. And that's when it's really, it becomes a problem, not only for the people that are experiencing it, but, it's just, for me, it's like, no, why would I want to be forced into an institution like that where, you deem me less than, or, you deem me as the help, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it. A true partnership, a true intimate connection, I think is dope. But the way these fools are looking at marriages and dangling it over your head. It's like that old, outdated system, that institution that they want us to be grateful to jump in. And so much of us are, because we don't really understand the history, you know. So I'm grateful.
I am too.
I'm so grateful.
Because when you know better, again, like, you give yourself a chance to invite into your life what you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because you stop tolerating and accepting less than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you attract like minds into your life. So, I mean, it can be a beautiful thing. There's no denying that. Do you know what I mean? Company is nice. It's nice to have companionship and stuff, but I just feel like we just should not get lost.
We're not groomed.
We shouldn't lose ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't lose ourselves.
We're not groomed to have that. We don't even know how to do that.
No, we're not. We actually groomed to be possessive and toxic on both sides. On both sides, yeah. Like, we don't really know what it is.
No.
It's just possessive and ownership. But yeah, and if you can't really find, but then again, because we don't even know that that's what we want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, when you speak to women or men or whatever, what do you want? What they want tends to resemble
the programming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
we've been told what we want.
This show is, like, for me anyway, us. I just share. We just share really our thoughts and opinions, and how we feel. You know, people are always going to live their lives how they want to live their lives. Mm. But again, we just feel like we should all move with an awareness, be aware of our behaviours and why we're behaving the way we behave, because a lot of the time we move unconsciously. Right. And when you now bring your awareness to the present moment, and that you'll actually become self-aware, you start to think to yourself, oh my God, why do I actually do this? You know, you start to ask real questions instead of just moving on autopilot.
Exactly. Exactly. Know why you're doing something. Know if it's what you want. You got to know yourself to even begin to answer those questions.
Don't dishonor your soul. Don't dishonor your energy. You know, don't dishonor yourself.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to yourself, honestly, because you're so worth it. You're inside yourself, you're inside your body, you're inside your mind. So just start to pay attention and move in a way that's beneficial to you. Keep saying it. People are like, oh, be selfish. Be selfish with your like, not even. I don't even know if it's
and I hate the stigma around the word. Selfish is we've been taught that that's a bad thing. Selfish is like being of self. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with being about yourself. Like,
girl, everything they teach you is to tell you that self is not enough. You must look outside. And if you do, God forbid you try to think the self is enough. You're selfish, you're self-centered, you're this, you're that, because you should be in constant servitude to everybody else but yourself. And interestingly enough as well, men are not really taught that. It's only women that are really taught service. Men are taught to be go-getters, chase this, all about self. Like, that's literally how they're taught. But us, she's so selfish, she's so self-centered, she's so this, she's so that. Yes, I am. Because I matter. Please, I matter. I'm number one in my universe. I'm the main character in my world. As you should be the main character in your world too. Don't let nobody tell you different. Like, you come here and give yourself the best life that you can give yourself, the best experience, because nobody else is going to give it to you. Everybody should do that for themselves. Do you know what I mean? People are constantly looking for someone else outside to rescue them or to be their happiness or to be their source of joy. No. Do it for yourself first, so that when we meet, we can all make sense. Stop stressing me out.
I know, by the grace. Girl. Like, at least be able to meet me. But girl.
I'll mess up my piece. But anyway, that was an eclectic episode.
Yeah, it was. I love the way it flowed.
Yeah, it was really like, this is literally just our conversations. These are the things that we talk about. Yeah. So this is raw and unedited power of women talk.
For real.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope we, had you thinking about a few things. And don't let them say that rubbish. Women like
Right.
guys like Russel Wilson. We really do. We don't.
Right.
There's nothing as simping. Like there's
No.
a multifaceted. What's the word? It's not even multifaceted. A wide or pool of women, and we like all types of men. Do you know what I mean? But mostly not psychopaths that abuse us. That notion is
Right.
to you guys. Men keep trying to put that notion on us, but no, we don't. We don't love abuse, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, despite what y'all think, despite how y'all treat us, most of y'all treat us, we actually do like nice guys. Yeah,
we don't tolerate. It's not that women can take abuse, so we can't. No, we just have no choice.
We don't think it's love either. Nope.
No, we don't. Sorry, we like the Russells. Russells come to us. We will take you gladly. Don't mind them. They are just jealous.
Right, gladly.
They want to stop you from shooting your shot. Shoot your shot.
Right.
Shoot your shot. Don't mind them.
Seriously.
Oh God.
For real.
But yeah, guys, follow us as usual on social media at the Pow Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, what else? Twitter. Yeah, and we will speak to you guys again next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.